Today on the show, we're going to show you 14 ways to grow your business. My name's Russell Pearson. For the last 30 years, I've been helping consultants and business owners grow their businesses through sales, promotion, and marketing. And today I'd like to show you what are the constraints that get in the way of that growth and what you can do about it. And if you haven't already, go to russellpearsonprograms.com for free resources that support all the things we're talking about today and throughout the podcast series. So let's get stuck right into it. I'm going to switch across to the tablet so I can show you the exact steps that are involved. Now, no matter what type of business you're in, this is going to help you grow, and it's going to identify the constraints that may be getting in the way and where you want to focus. So we're talking about growth, but ideally, because of the work that we're now doing, I'm going to focus a little bit more in with consulting businesses. So this is businesses with expertise, people with experience and expertise who are helping people usually transition from a place that they're in to a new outcome that they want instead. And so consulting businesses are just a modality. They're very similar to advisory businesses, very similar to service providing businesses, or even coaching businesses. Consulting is just a way of doing things. So if you have expertise and that's what you're actually aiming to sell, this is going to be very valuable for you. So if you want to grow your business, there's only really two ways to do it outside of it adding additional capacity. This is taking into account that you have capacity to grow, which means that if you don't have people who can do the work, if you don't have advisors, if you don't have those consultants who are available, then you're not going to be able to grow that way. Now, that is the subject of another video. We're going to talk about if we have the capacity, what are the things that are going to get us more clients and more income, profits at the end of the day, so we're growing our outcomes at the other side of the business. So as we walk down through there's obviously going to be two very straightforward ways to grow your business, and then from there we're going to get into the detail at each level. Now the first ones are you either get more clients, or the other option is to make those clients that you've already got more valuable. So more value from clients. And so that's taking, for instance, a $10,000 client, turning them into a $20,000 client. It's basically using what you've got and you're actually going to squeeze more juice or really create more opportunity for you to help these people far more. And at the end of the day, get better value from them and to them. So get more clients or more value from the client. Now, let's focus in on the get more clients part. What are the two ways that you can get more clients? Well, number one is you can get more leads. That's certainly one way that you can do it. And that's people who could use what you've got, and ideally those leads become prospects when they have a specific reason to work with you. So we get more leads. Or the other way is to increase our conversion. So increasing the conversion with those individual lead opportunities. All right, so they're the two basic ways. Now, this seems pretty basic so far, but we'll keep going into the detail. Now, let's go over to the other side. More value from clients, and I'll put clients there just so I can keep saying it. This is client all the time. How do we do that? Well, number one, we can increase margins. It's one way where we can actually get more profit, obviously, from those existing clients. Or we can sell more units. Now, more units sounds like widgets. And so are we talking about selling widgets to these people? Well, no, we're not. It's about how are we going to sell more of the things that we've got to offer. Now, that could be more projects, that could be more engagements, that could be more hours, it could be more days. How do we go about defining the unit of sale, of transaction? And so that could be we do more invoices. But again, it's about keeping our averages high by doing more and at the same time doing more of those things together. So sell more units is how we do that. Now let's go back to the other side. So let's say we want to get more leads. How do we get more leads? Well, we either promote more. So we need to promote more often. And that's going to be everything from advertising to speaking on stages to writing articles to exposure through social media. But we need to do more of it if we want to get more of these leads. And what's the other way we can do it? We can promote better. So promote better means improving our article writing, or the way in particular it engages with prospects, improving the way that we do our advertising, improving the way we do our speaking opportunities, and all the other things that we do to engage those leads. We get better at it. And within that, there are all sorts of detail on how you can do it. But this enables us to really start to focus on where are the high rotation activities, which is the things that we should be focusing a larger amount of our time on, so that if we can break this constraint to the business, it can open up that opportunity in a much more long-term way. So we're not just doing this and improving our business once. Once we do this, it improves our business forever. So the other way, we're looking at increasing conversion. So how do we go about doing that? Well, we improve sales. And that could be either through sales training, improving our sales process, improving the way we do diagnostic with clients, but basically the sales process itself is improved. Or we can improve the offer. Now, improving the offer could be potentially in the way we've got it written down, in the way we're presenting it. It might be, all right, well, maybe we're not going to write it down anymore. Maybe we're actually going to design with the client, which is something I recommend all the time, but we need to improve the offer. So if you're finding that you're getting enough leads, but you're not getting enough sales, then it's quite simple that you need to go and increase your, and I'll just put a highlighter on this, increase your conversion rate, which means that you just need to focus in underneath that about how do we go about improving the sales, how do we go about improving our offers. Now, if you say, now actually our conversion rate's quite high, maybe we're converting at 80% or above, then it's actually very clearly about getting more leads. Now, this side of town is going to certainly help when we're looking to grow our numbers, but the other side is really going to improve the growth of cash. Now, if we don't have clients, we're not going to get any cash, and so you still need to have this left-hand side working quite well to start with, but then we can certainly move to the right if we've already got a lot of things going on. And if we have time capacity issues, if we've got, all right, we can only service clients so much or have so many clients that we can actually work with, then we'll certainly go to the right-hand side and start improving that area as well. So if we look at, we want more value from clients, we want to potentially increase our margins. How do we do that? Well, number one, we can simply raise our prices. We can put the prices up of the things that we actually sell. That's probably the easiest way to increase value in a business. If you've never done that, let's say that you've got, I don't know, a $200,000 business and you want to increase the value of that business, you want to go to $300,000, you may be able to make a very small change in your pricing and suddenly you're getting an additional 50%. And there you're at that number, okay? So raising prices is a very strong strategy. The other strategy you can look at is decreasing costs. So we decrease costs, and that will also increase your margin. So whether you're raising prices or decreasing costs, it's the margin between those things that is increased in both of the activities. Now, it's rare that I come into a business and I find that they are overspending. It's usually a case that they are undercharging, and so certainly things to look at there. Now, if we flip it over to the other side, it could just be that we've got all these great customers. We don't want any more customers, but we want more revenue from the customers in total. All right, well, one of the ways we can do that is sell more units to the clients we already have. Now, that's a similar cross-selling. It's the equivalent of longer-term engagements with these people. It's the equivalent of just reducing churn so that we're not losing clients. And there's an interesting point here too. Back in the day when I used to run a marketing company and a marketing agency, I would find a lot of my competitors would come in and do work with a company once. Now, part of that is because they didn't do a great job. But even when they did do a great job, they seemed to get bored with the client. So they'd go and do a campaign and they'd move along. Whereas with me, our company would stay with the business for 7+ years because once the first campaign was starting to wind up, we would say, all right, what's next? What's next? And so we reduced the churn. There was less churn of us always needing to get a new client and always proposing and pitching to people. We would continue to work with people in a much more collaborative way, so we continue to work with them over time. Now, it's not working on the same problem. You're working on new milestones and new outcomes. But there is a journey that you can take with a client that is not just one engagement. So let's have a look at sell more units. What are the ways that we can do that? Well, I said one of them already, which is to reduce churn. Okay, so We can reduce our churn, and obviously for those who don't know, churn is where someone comes into the business, a client comes into the business, and then a client leaves the business. The same thing happens with staff members. There is staff churn. Staff members can come into the business and then leave the business. Your churn is how long they are staying on average. And so do you have clients that stick around for a year, maybe even just a campaign? Do they stick around for years? How many years do they stick around for? And what could you do to lengthen the lifetime value with that client? So reduced churn is certainly one of those ways. Another way is to offer more. So we can make more offers to our existing clients. There are all sorts of things that we do for different types of clients, and we often forget that the thing that we've just done for this client would be really valuable over on this other client's in this other client situation as well. So making sure that when we do have successes with a client, say, does it make sense to now offer this to other clients because we've seen how we can actually get a success and use case with it to ensure that it's something that is going to be valuable, obviously, for the clients that we've got. So let's go back and have a review of the whole thing. If we're looking to grow any business really, but especially those consulting businesses, there's two ways to do that. We can either get more clients or we can add more value from the existing clients we've got. So not just add more value, but receive more value. From there, if we want to get more clients, we can get more leads or we can increase conversion. If we want more value, we can increase our margins or we can sell more units. It's pretty straightforward. And then underneath of each of these, if we want to get more leads, it's promote more or promote better. If we want to increase our conversion, it's improve sales or improve our offer. If we want to increase our margins, it is raise prices or decrease costs. If we want to sell more units, we can reduce our churn by continuing to stay with somebody so they buy more units over time. Or we make more offers for other things on the sides that they might not have actually had experience with before. And so really your job is to have a look at this within your own business and say, what is it that I want? All right, well, I've already got enough clients. I want to add more value. So then we start looking within that, how are we going to add that value? And you may do multiple things at the same time. You might decide to increase margins and sell more units pretty much in the same week. We've raised our prices and we're actually going to make more offers. Or we're going to decrease our costs and we're going to work on our long-term value of churn. Each of those combinations is absolutely fine. Now, if you go, well, actually, I don't have enough clients because I've got too much time on my hands. All right, well, we're going to look at how are we going to do that? Are we going to get more leads or are we going to increase the conversion rate? Now, I want to make a quick note here. This is something that I do find that a lot of people will do is that they will run to get more leads because they think if they get more leads, it's going to be the answer to everything. But the reality is, as long as you're converting it, probably I would say over 50%, so 60 to 80% is the sweet spot. But if you're converting it over 50%, it's probably time to get more leads, yes. But if you're not converting at 50%, then it's time to work on that conversion rate. Now, you need leads to be able to convert. I completely understand that. So if you've got no leads, get leads. But let's say that you've got a solo consultancy and you've got 5 leads that are on the board. Now it's a case of converting those things so that you can get 2.5 in the case of 50%. But even if you've got 2 out of 5 clients out of 5 leads, that's still, it's something. It's 40% conversion rate. That's still something to work with. Is it time to improve the conversion? And in other words, are you speaking to a lot of people about projects, but they're not getting to the end goal? They're not actually getting to a sale? Or is it a case of that you've got no one to speak to? If you've got people to speak to, work on the conversion rate. If you don't have people to speak to, then certainly focus on leads. But what is it going to be for your business? You make the decision, you make the choice, and then you get to design your business off the back of that. So what we're talking about is growth. We're talking about consulting success. Consulting success. And so what I like to ensure is that the businesses I'm working with have a high rotation and a low rotation. There are things that they need to do within the business that are ongoing concerns. They're ongoing activities, whether they are lead generation, whether they are sales and marketing and all the other activities, including obviously the day-to-day work with consultants, clients. But there are things that are just happening along the way. They're your low rotation activities. They should be on maintenance mode. But then you pick the constraint that is actually getting in the way of your growth and you bring that up to a high rotation. That's the thing that you spend 80% of any available time on so you can crack it. You can actually whack it with a hammer until the constraint is gone, and that will help you much more long term, not just grow now, but create a real accelerated path for you in the growth of your business. So hopefully you found that very valuable. If you would like support with this sort of thing, we have the Forge Business Program and we have the Consulting Guild. Reach out to me and we can have a chat about whether either of those is going to be right for you and your consulting business. My name is Russell Pearson. This has been episode number 94 of the Your Consulting Business podcast. Until next time, stay passionate and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye for now.